Um, First one I wanted to talk about was we always hear this ROI thing, return on investment, and ROI is a little like a sticky tag you can stick on anything you do, from a direct mail campaign to an internet campaign to a podcast like this, for example. And an ROI is obviously what you put into it, what it costs you to do something, and then what do you get back from that. And so I mean, that's just the simple math of it all. If you do a direct mail campaign letter or campaign at all, and you should be able to have a metric that tracks who came back from that particular campaign. That's your ROI. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't know you can do is, say, for example, you put up a new website or you do a web campaign or even print media, it doesn't matter. You can get a Google telephone number for free that you can then put on that print media or your digital media. That way anybody coming through there, literally you can track how successful your clients coming back in, or potential clients coming back in from that particular campaign. You can obviously do the same thing with an email. It's customized for just that campaign. Once you have, let's say you get 100 potential clients out of that, and you land 30 of them, you convert them, that you have a 30% ROI, at least from the client standpoint. Now, depending upon what it cost you is really your percentage of ROI. But again, ROI being whatever, it's like a little sticky tag. I've got some here somewhere. Let me see. It's like a sticky note. You can stick it on anything and track metrics that way. Next thing I wanted to talk about was podcasting. Like, this is basically a podcast, and you can make it your own show. You put it on your own YouTube. You put good keyword tags, they're called tags, on the video itself and help it to go viral. You can send it around to people to look at, come join you on your show. Podcasting is a phenomenal tool, and boy, do we have a lot of great tools these days about how to do video podcasting. Unlike anything we've ever seen in the past, we're not charged for storage anymore. We're not charged for connectivity and data rates anymore. I mean, it's a wild, wild west that's way open again. And as both Frank and myself and Dick, I sent them out an email yesterday to focus on, there's a group of guys that they do nothing but video, and the good video practices is important to, obviously, to know before you go putting out videos that people, one, can't hear, two, is not laid out properly, not produced properly. It doesn't have to be Hollywood quality, but it certainly has to reach a certain minimum of usability. Otherwise, the people that are going to listen to it or going to view it, they're just not going to stay, not professional enough. So use podcasting. It can truly increase your ability to get your stuff out there around the world. The next, and those tools like this one are literally available for free. And again, we've never had such a great opportunity as entrepreneurs to have so many tools available to us these days. And I think Frank made that comment last week as well. Next talking point I want to talk about is Aweber. Aweber is a phenomenal company. It's like Constant Contact, so I think they're in the same competitive space. But I use Aweber exclusively to gather names of people who want to be on a list of getting information or newsletters or whatever, and that's called an opt-in list. They have to opt in. Now, the magic of being in an opt-in situation is, in fact, they're giving you a license to market them. Unlike, and Frank pointed this out yesterday as well, I mean, if you just, which a lot of people do, they get a business card, they grab that card and they put it in the email, and then they start putting them on these lists and they start marketing them. And that's called spam. And nobody wants to be marketed like that. That's old school, rude, and doesn't work. It only hurts the business that does it. And I know that we have mutual friends that put us on lists all the time, and it's like, don't insult me that way. I'm just not ready for that. Oh, John's coming on board here. And so now there's an attestment to tools. John is driving his car and he's on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about tools. We have tools these days that entrepreneurs can utilize to do this kind of thing. It's pretty phenomenal. And then, John, just you're coming in midstream here. We're just kind of going down talking points for each of us. So just hang in there. Let us watch you drive,
Sure.
and let's not see a cop unless a
Is this
cop
my
pulls you
audio?
over. If a cop
My
pulls you over, that would be very interesting.
Yeah,
So,
we could with him.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
We could put him on the podcast. So the next piece of the Aweber thing is that if you get a group of people that actually opt in, they want your newsletter, they want your specials, they want to know what you're doing because that's what they did. They opted in. And with that opt-in, with Aweber, another phenomenal tool, and I know people who live off this, they build their list up. Say they want to go to Hawaii for a vacation, they'll do a special, push it out on their list that only their list gets, and they get purchases, and off to Hawaii they go. So from a business standpoint, in hard times, and particularly in the Coachella Valley here, we get hard times in the summer. You know, we swell up almost 3 times the size, I think, with people for snowbirds. So, you know, businesses are active, restaurants are active, everything's going, and then when summer hits, it dies off to zero. And so that's the time you live off your list. Live off the list from people further away. I mean, even a restaurant could sell recipes that they use. There's lots of stuff, if you think out of the box, that they could sell and still get income off their list if they were to gather people's names on an Aweber type of thing. The other thing that's really, and that's called a broadcast, by the way. You can just jump up and broadcast out your special. It goes out to everybody. The other marvelous piece of Aweber is, in fact, you can set up a marketing campaign. Whoever signs up, they get their first welcoming email. 2 or 3 days later, they get another email, and you can do that as many times as you want, and I suggest 12 emails. You touch them 12 times, you're bound to get a sale. My ROI on that, by the way, is I've increased my sales about 30% by using Aweber. And the specialty items and the instant broadcast. I know John and I both use those expertly, I think, to help to generate some cash flow when things are a little on the slow side. And my counsel is you give them one special offer and then 3 emails of information that is of some value to them. Should be high value if you can do it, and then another offer. And then 3 more emails of information and another offer. You don't want to keep hammering people with just, here, hi, I buy this. This is my special. Why didn't you buy? And here's another special. And you know that gets old. They want a relationship with you, but they don't want to be sold all the time. People love to buy, but they don't like to be sold. And so your selling has got to be in a way that's maybe under the radar screen to some degree, but at least tasteful, I think. My last talking point to get everybody involved is a company called Fiverr.com, and that's like the number 5, F-I-V-E, with an extra R, so Fiverr.com. And Fivers are a group of individuals that do things for $5. You can have a logo made for $5. You can have jingles done for $5. You can have they'll even do testimonial videos for you for $5. And it's a phenomenal resource for small business. If you need a graphics artist to do a couple of logos for $5, how can you beat that? You know, it's just, you can't beat it. And so I always suggest people know about Fiverr. If you want your book proofread, it starts at $5. Usually by the time you get done, it's probably close to $40, but certainly worth it. I know John's had some things converted by Fiverr. So instead of taking your precious time converting, take your precious time and build your business, not shoveling dirt outside your house. In other words, menial jobs that you've got to do for business. Hire people for that and keep your brain focused on what's going on. So those are my talking points, gentlemen. And Frank, do you want to jump out and start yours?